Hi, everybody out in Petland. It's Yvonne DeVita, and I have another Scratchins and Sniffins Out Loud today with Dr. Grace and Dr. Larry. And I think we have a subject that is near and dear to many people's hearts. It involves feeding pets and the myths around creating pet food. So welcome, Dr. Larry and Dr. Grace.
Oh, thanks, Yvonne. One of the things I hear a lot from people is that certain pet foods, they don't like them because they've heard they contain fillers. And, you know, there's this notion out there about what should be in pet food and what shouldn't be in pet food. And, you know, from where I sit, from my perspective, a lot of those myths have been created by pet food manufacturers.
Uh-oh.
Well, you know, yeah, I mean, the whole no corn, this product contains no corn, this product contains no soy. I mean, those are marketing slogans, basically. They don't have a lot of basis in nutrition. Would you agree, Grace?
Definitely. And unfortunately, if you say that something doesn't have corn, the implication is that corn is bad, and that is not reality.
Yeah, talk a little about that, because that is huge. When I look at my Google alerts concerning pets and pet food and all the things that I like to try and keep track of, corn is one of the biggest things that people are buzzing about. Oh, that dog food has corn, or if you're feeding your dog or cat anything with corn in it, it must be bad. And so tell us why it's a myth and why we shouldn't be up in arms about that.
Corn is a very good ingredient, and it's also very versatile. In other words, all corn is not the same. You can have cornmeal or you can have corn gluten, and different types of corn are in pet foods for different reasons. Corn gluten, for instance, is a very high-quality protein ingredient. It's about 67% protein, and it's very, very digestible.
Yeah, and you know, people give it a rap because it has the word gluten attached to it. And dogs that have gluten enteropathies, the gluten responsible for that is wheat gluten. It's not corn gluten.
Exactly. And corn can also be a great source of carbohydrates. When I think about corn, I love corn. And,
yeah, me too.
And when I eat corn on the cob, I don't think, gee, I'm eating some kind of junk that is bad for me. I'm thinking this is a good, nutritious vegetable. And I really don't know where folks started getting the idea that corn is bad or not nutritious, because it's a very nutritious ingredient.
Yeah, it's highly digestible, too. I think that people, I don't want to get gross here, but I've actually seen in pet stores certain manufacturers of pet food, they'll set up a little display and they'll talk about stuff. And the one that's particularly anti-corn likes to use the notion that corn is undigestible because, you know, sometimes you see it after you've gone to the bathroom, right? Well, what you see is the husk of the corn, the undigestible part of the corn. The kernel of the corn, where all the carbohydrate energy is, that's what you don't see. That's what is about 95% digestible. So it's a great source of carbohydrate energy, good source of essential fatty acid. It's a great ingredient, and there's nothing wrong with it.
And it sounds like, from what you've been saying, Grace, that as far as nutrition goes, at Purina, you guys are looking at where the benefits are of the different kinds of corn or the ways to use corn in a diet. And Larry, I agree. I mean, I eat corn, and I like it, and it was the only vegetable my son would eat until he was 24, so he didn't suffer anything.
Yeah.
You know, in my part of the world, in the Southwest, the Indians have lived for thousands of years on what they call the Three Sisters. And the Three Sisters are corn, beans, and squash. You know, and you put all those things together, and you get, from the beans, you get a great protein source. From the corn, you get protein and carbohydrate. From the squash, you know, it's a complete diet. So
maybe we should make a dog food like that.
You know, the other one that gets a rap, Yvonne, is soy.
Yeah.
You know, it's another one that's it's implicated as filler, it's cheap, and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, soy is 48% protein, and just like corn gluten, it's another thing that you can use to balance a diet. It brings in certain essential amino acids that are nice to mix with other amino acids from, say, meat or some other type of protein source. So soy is, it's got.
But that's very interesting about soy, because soy has become very popular for people. And, I mean, they have these new Soy Joy nutrition bars they advertise on TV. And I'm supposed to drink soy milk because I can't have regular milk and things like that. So I'm confused about why they think it's bad for the dogs.
You mentioned that you can drink the soy milk but not regular milk, and there are a lot of infants, too, that cannot drink regular milk and have to be put on a soy product.
Mm-hmm.
And, in fact, we have a hypoallergenic diet for dogs that is totally based on soy protein. And it's based on an isolated soy that's about 90% protein. So it's a very pure source of soy and protein. So it's
a lot of those mixes for babies, for infants, contain the same type of isolated soy protein.
Mm-hmm.
And Grace, what diet didn't you just do something in the PVD line where you put in another component of soy called the isoflavone, which has tremendous benefits for weight loss?
Mm-hmm. We did that on our OM, overweight management product. And yes, they've actually shown, especially if an animal or even a person loses weight, this will help with that rebound so that they don't gain the weight back. And an individual that is on this product actually has a higher metabolism and can burn more calories. So it's a great ingredient.
Yeah, so just like with corn, the people that criticize soy, they don't do it for nutritional reasons. They do it for some type of a marketing edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think people hear over and over again from other people, and it becomes one of those rumors that turns into reality that suddenly, this is bad for me or my pets, and so I'm not going to use it, and nobody stops to actually do some research on whether it's true or not. So I think this is very beneficial.
One thing I will say about soy, in the past it was implicated in bloat, which is a serious condition for large, deep-chested breeds of dogs. 10, 15 years ago, people were saying that soy caused bloat, and there have been a number of studies that have debunked that myth. So soy does not cause bloat. And the only thing that you could say negatively about soy is that in some dogs, very few, some dogs will develop a little gas when they eat products containing certain types of soy. But, it's not a widespread problem.
Because in general, it's a very highly digestible product that doesn't cause those types of problems. I think it's interesting that bloat is actually caused by the animal gulping air and swallowing air when they eat really fast.
Right. It's not a condition related to what they're eating. It's actually how they eat, their behavior.
Right.
Right. Any other things that people think as far as nutrition and dietary?
The only one that I'm thinking of is byproducts. I think folks think of the word byproduct and think that it's just like, leftovers that we're going to throw in. But again, byproducts is a very good source of protein, and it includes things like liver and heart, which are really, for us, could be a delicacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think when you look at meals and byproducts, poultry byproduct meal or poultry meal, they have different grades of that stuff. And basically the grading is more about the mineral content in the poultry meal than it is anything else. There are poultry meals that have less mineral content in them, and then poultry byproduct meal that might have a little more mineral content in them. So that's the big difference between those things.
Sounds good. So today we uncovered some myths, and I hope we helped people understand soy and corn and byproducts. Thanks, everybody. We'll get together again soon.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Thank you.